forward. What is the word I had this morning? Born, birth before what? Computers. But now you're born in that era. You know the computer. You have to apply that. We don't want, it would be a waste of time on our part to wait for 40 years before breakthrough is made. You were born with computers. You can make a breakthrough faster than what we have done. I only used a computer when I was 21 at the university in the USA, and I got so much intimidated. Which is not really the case anymore with the young people. These are the challenges among you. The other part is that I mentioned about countries, neighboring countries that are not equally endowed. But the challenge is the following: is that many of you are here. It is you who must actually break down that barrier. Once you are communicating with your colleagues, when you are sharing the expertise, you'll bring benefit to one country, and also, in return, you also gain a lot from that. What I'm really trying to say is the following: there is a lot of work on your shoulder compared to us. And if things are not handled properly by you, the youth, will destabilize the Southern African region. But this country has so much resources that we can tap into that. But that depends on your knowledge, your expertise, and how you use it. With those few words, I wish you all success in your deliberation. And we'd like to hear, next year when we meet again, we'd like to hear what you have been deliberated, what you have done on, which research project you have initiated, which doors you have unlocked to release funding. But also keep in mind, South-South cooperation is not bad. Cooperation in Sadc is also good. But let's also tap into the resources from our friends in the Northern Hemisphere. That research collaboration is really needed, because in most cases, they have funds, but they don't have good projects. Here we have good projects, but we don't actually have funds. Colleagues, with those few words, good luck with your deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, for such inspirational talk. This is a very interactive session, by the way. So just relax. No more tension. Just relax. I think he highlighted some quite important, like South cooperation, which is quite vital in the research domain, and also even in other kind of projects. I think it's upon us to take those challenges seriously. And as we go into the other session, whereby we are going to hear what you people have planned for the session, and like those plans, you can factor that also. You are at liberty to pick what the chair said into your presentation. Now, without wasting time, we have a presentation by Paseka, about to do with the innovations. So it's a keynote address on youth innovation on water. So Paseka, welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Congo. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, protocol observed. It is with great honor that I stand before you. It goes without saying that you are here because of a reason. You are not just randomly selected. You are youth of caliber from your country. And we saw it fit that we share the platform in showcasing some of the youth work that has been done. So without elaborating on what I have done as yet, I would like to call upon the stage Matthews from Zambia, who would also like to share a case study of what they have done thus far, which is encouraging and which demonstrates that what we are thinking of is definitely possible. It might not be easy, but it is definitely possible. So Matthews, with a round of applause, please.
Thank you very much, Paseka. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, my name is Matthews Kalabo from Zambia Youth Water Forum, which belongs to a Sadc Youth Water Network, which was formed in 2015. I also work with the United Nations managing the youth programs. So to start with, maybe let me just share a few experiences that we have gone through, as well as what I've gone through as a youth from my country. What I'll be talking about, I want to talk about youth as a resource when it comes to sustainable development, not youth as a problem maker when it comes to sustainable development, no. So 6 years ago, in my country, they called for a bid for a mining company that wanted to set up a mine in the lower Zambezi. I'm sure you understand about the Zambezi River, where it goes down, where it joins with Mozambique, somewhere there. So there's a park called Lower Zambezi. So now the government gave actually to these foreigners to set up a mining in that place. So coming from with the UN, as well as working so close with the civil societies, we planned to stage a protest when that particular investors came in to sign the documents so that they can finalize. So instead, what we did was we called for a quick meeting, civil societies, to stage a protest. So we did the placards and everything. We wrote messages. We don't want mining Lower Zambezi, protecting our natural resources, and so forth. So as they were doing that signing ceremony, that was at Pamoza Hotel. Then we were outside there. So we stood with the placards. So as the investors now were coming out after they even finished the signing ceremony, we had to actually lift up our placards to them with different messages. Few minutes later, we just saw the police came in. Then we were 6 of us. So we were arrested for about 3 hours. So lucky enough, media quickly came in. Then now media started pressurizing the police. No one to see these people who have been arrested. Why is that you've arrested them and so forth? So they could not allow the media to have audience with us. So with that pressure now from the media, they called the big people who ordered them that, can you arrest those guys? So later on said, please, can you just release them? Otherwise, we'll cause commotion. So up to now, that was 6 years ago. Up to now, the developer or maybe the investors, they haven't put anything in that particular place because the civil societies had to group and then they had to sue the government by giving that land to the Lower Zambezi so that they may destroy the natural resources so that they can set up a mining. So now, why did we do that? We looked at the importance of natural resources. Of course, yeah, mining will get resources and so forth, but what is that we're getting as well from natural resources? So we looked at a river which is just closer to Lower Zambezi, which is Ruangwa River as well, where it benefits a lot of different species, including people. So that's the first story. The next story is, if you remember very well, 8 years ago, there was a youth caravan from Kenya all the way up to Devon when South Africa hosted the COP17. That is a Conference of Parties on Climate Change. Norwegian government had a little funds, so that they send information to all the African countries, specifically to the youth, to organize themselves, to organize a caravan, more like a campaign, awareness, all the way from Kenya up to Devon. And then what elderly people did was, we're not going to call this as a youth caravan. We don't want the name of the youth to come out in this caravan. Instead, let's just be a normal caravan. But instead, we push because resources are coming in for the youth to raise awareness. Why should you elders now come in and say, no, let the name of the youth not be heard? So we had to push for our agenda. And then when we had, during the planning meetings, we said that what is it that we want to, the message that we want to come out in this caravan as we head to Durban for COP17. We are the ones who push for 1.5 degrees in the atmosphere, the carbon emissions in the atmosphere. Today, Paris Agreement has adopted that based on the petition that we presented in Durban, that is 8 years ago. Away from that, we all know that we had Millennium Development Goals, and then later on the post-2015, though we could not achieve some of the countries. During the consultative process, I had privileged to be invited at the high delegation and to give a statement that why is it that developing nations could not achieve the 8 goals in the period of 15 years. So some of the issues that I highlighted was youths were not included in this preparatory planning as well as implementation period, because as usual, youths have been taken as nothing and everything. Hence, they could not achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. So today we hear about the SDGs, and I'm sure everyone knows the theme, or a common say that leave no one behind. So during the consultative process, with other colleagues, youth, we had to push for the youth inclusion in the SDGs, that if we want to meet or to achieve the goals in the next 30 years, 15 years by then, youth should be involved in these SDGs. And today we are saying leave no one behind. I'll ask the IT man just to show a clip. Just. So what we're seeing here, this is water from, it's a groundwater. This is within Lusaka, the capital city. Those who've been to Zambia recently, I'm sure you know the place called Sadc Business Park, where there's a Hilton Hotel. Yeah, so during the construction of that building or renovation, because it was an old building, so they had to start now trying to renovate it. The consultant in the water, who was doing the water thing, Lusaka water, in Lusaka, water tables are not that deep, but they're just on the lighter part. So this water that you're seeing is the groundwater, which was coming from the place where they were doing the construction and so forth. So there were actually 2 pipes, the other one was just off. So this water was going to waste for all the period that they were doing the construction of that building. So now every time I could pass there, being a youth from, or maybe water activist, it used to pain me because the neighboring area or community, they had no water. And yet we have water which was going to wastage. What did I do? I went and confronted the director, that is the engineer, the consultant who was looking into the water aspect. So I had audience, then I told him, I said, you see, this water which is going to wastage, what other plans do you have? I know you are still doing the construction and everything, but what is it that you can do to avoid this water just going to the wastage? So he told me, he said, you know what? I advise your government in the area on that, find the way, or we can develop a mechanism that this water, as we are building this building, we can still find a way on how this water can be reused. But your government could not listen to us. So what do you want us to do? We want money. We've just been engaged to do the consultant's work and then to develop a water structure towards this building. So nothing that we can do. So this water will continue running to waste until when we are done. So I said, you know what? I think for me, it is not fair. So he said, I think you go and see the Lusaka City Council, the Water and Sewerage, and the minister. And he said, I think that's too late. So the best way is I'll call the media so that maybe you can speak that to the media. I said, no, I cannot speak this to the media because I'm here to do the job. So I threatened him. I said, okay, what I'll do is then, whether you like it or not, I'll bring the media so that now they capture these water which is going to wastage, and then also they get your views. 2 days later, I saw he engaged the people to dig. After digging, then now they had to bury that water. They had to put a pipe. They channeled it to a main drainage. Lusaka, along Cairo Road, there's a big drainage in between. So they had to channel that water now into that drainage. At least now, when we were passing there, we couldn't see water going to waste. Yeah. Recently, you are aware that Lusaka, Zambia in particular, suffered a lot of, suffered cholera pandemic where there was much loss of life. So as a youth water forum, what is it that we did? We engaged the government. They said, no, we're asking for resources so that we can do a media campaign, but they could not allow that. Said, no, we don't have money. So we could not just sit relax and said, no, they said they don't have money, so we leave it. No. We started now day-to-day campaign, and then also media campaign. And then that also contributed to the reduce or maybe to keep cholera. Up to now, Zambia is cholera free. So I know time is not with me, but maybe just in a few seconds. Also in 2016, we had to push for a space during the International World Water Day so that youths can be heard. I think those are the few things that we've done. Of course, there are other things that we could done, but because of time, I couldn't go on to highlight them all. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Matthews. As you can see, Matthews is presenting a clear case of being proactive in the space. He didn't have the resources, but he had the will. And through the will, he managed to achieve what he has. And as we've heard, he still has much more to share with us. So feel free to engage him after this session. Without further ado, I'd also like to show you some of the work that we have done on the ground in closing to show that it is possible.
Well, we are here in Soshanguve, block PP2. We are assessing the candidates which we have trained to be basic plumbers in order to be ready for the installation of the WHC leakless valve. So we are assessing one at a time, and we are accompanied by the City of Tshwane mentors who are analyzing their performance to that extent. And we'll be moving from one house to another. We are running a 9-month project here. We will be installing 1,000 units in the community. The first phase of the project is to train the locals to be eligible to do the job. We have approximately 9 phases of this project, ranging from training of the candidates all the way to monitoring and reporting after installation. The application of skill is very evident, and they are showing great potential to expand this project moving forward.
I started training the students as of 9th of May up to now, and now they are doing their final assessment. When I started training them, they didn't know anything about plumbing. They are doing quite well. They are now able to install all the toilets and all the broken pipes. They are repairing them. They've helped the community, which is quite a good thing.
We're fixing household leaks, be it toilet or the taps. Those kind of leaks we were hired by Tshwane in combination with the WHC company. For example, the house we were in, it's a granny. She doesn't know how to fix things like this, and she doesn't have enough money to fix things like this. So we as Tshwane and WHC came through. We managed to help her.
So far so good. There's a lot of excitement regarding the WHC leakless valve. We have identified that there's over 70% leakages in toilets within this community alone, among other leaks that we have encountered. And the introduction of the leakless valve is a very aspirational feeling to most people. It's phenomenal to an extent that they didn't know such technology exists. So there's a lot of excitement and anticipation for the full rollout of the project.
I've noticed that there's shortage of ladies, and I think it's not based on males only. Even females can do it. I mean, it's not a difficult job. You just have to learn how to install and fix. So I think they can do it. If I can, they can do it too.
They are doing a marvelous job, these girls. They can fix the pipes, they can install toilets, they can rectify the leaks in the toilets. It's a good project, it must go a long way. They are doing quite well. They've helped the community and these youths to get employment, because there are a lot of wastage of waters in these houses. As they are going around fixing all the mistakes, we are seeing that the council is losing a lot of water, which is a lot of money.
This program, I'm finding it in a good way now. I'm simply going to take plumbing as a career. I think they have helped us a lot. They have created a lot of jobs, especially for the youth. So I think that's a good thing.
From my point of view, everyone can. If you are determined and willing to work, I think it's going to be much easier.
After these guys have gained some experience for some years, they must go for trade tests so that they get certificates as artisans in plumbing.
Words cannot express my gratitude for the Green City Startup and the City of Johannesburg's intervention in our endeavors. This mere project was motivated by the project we conducted for the City of Johannesburg. Our greatest desire is to create impact in the form of job creation, water saving, and obviously reduction of the non-revenue accounts of all the cities, especially our founding cities, City of Johannesburg and City of Tshwane. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is just to show you what willpower can achieve. I started this in my grandmother's garage alone. We managed to create these jobs. And our next project will be creating over 150 jobs, saving over 6,000 kiloliters, or rather, 6,000 Olympic swimming pools worth of water. Not to mention the money that is involved in that as well. So this is all possible because I kept on keeping on. This journey is not for the faint-hearted. You need to prepare yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, economically, materially, and spiritually. I cannot mention how many times I had to pray about it. The shortest distance between a problem and a solution at times was between the floor and my knees when things were rough. But by His grace, here we are. So if I can do it, you definitely can too. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah, thank you so much, Paseka, for such an inspirational clip. I think we need also to hear from you. There are some things that you have been doing. Let's get your clips. Send your clips. Of course, now we have that online portal. We can be uploading them there so that everybody can be seeing what you are doing. And that's also another way of sharing experience from across country. I've been in another panel, I think 4 weeks ago, on non-revenue water in African cities. The average is around, if you take the average, Africa is around 40%. But globally is 20%, that's what is acceptable. That's huge business for the youth, especially for Paseka. If you can go the whole of Africa, that's business. You can give him a big clap of applause for that. Now, excuse me. Yep. Use the mic. Mic.
That's why I thought it's, you know, stone throwers, you know, from June 16, they don't know these things. Thanks, my brother, for showing us that clip. But my problem is sustainability, incubation. Who's incubating those people? Because it's a norm of us. When I'm talking about all of us, we come into power. This is politics. We have those people in there. Thereafter, we're out of power, we leave them. Who's incubating them? If that's sustainable, then it's a good project. But if those people are left in the doldrum to fend for themselves, then it's a problem. If you're wasting our time, it's going to be a talk shop. So we need people to commit, particularly governments. At the end of this forum, I'll be gone by then. Let's find something to commit governments on these matters. That's a good initiative. We cannot forever try to be important, copying other people whilst we don't have our own, in a way integrating ourselves out of ourselves. So we need to find something to sustain what we have started. It's good that we're having these things, but our people out there are fighting with us. They talk about so-called democracy, which is democracy sometimes, whereby they are not looked after they've been voted into power. We, being voted, and yourself, voted into power. We must find something, Chairperson, on this matter. It's very important to some of us. We see our people doing good work, but behind that, there are politicians who want to shine on this project. Then they left people. Those people, they are not incubated. We want to see entrepreneurship. We want to see reservoir of entrepreneurs in Africa so that we can export unemployment. Let me pause for reaction.
Thank you very much. And I think this is the essence of this meeting. Basically, as you are going to hear more about this program that we are starting, is to do with entrepreneurship, to do with mentoring, to do with apprenticeship, so that we can create jobs, we can employ ourselves, we can also create money, because at the end of the day, we need money in our accounts and also in our meeting our bills. So let me take through that presentation. Then I think we can have, you'll be able to hear what these great brains are here, what they are doing, and what we can do for Africa and Sadc. So I'll hold to answer your question, but I will answer you at some point, which is a very good question.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yeah.
Why I'm in a haste to say that is because I've been dragged somewhere. There's a problem. I'm a sort of a fire brigade, political fire brigade. I must leave. So I must leave for Pretoria.
Okay. So maybe you can address you. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's right.
Thank you, good sir. You raise very valid points. Points which I also wanted to address, but in the interest of time, I had to cut it short. Over here, I'd like to give special attention to Mr. Tsapang. Tsapang is representing the Department of Water and Sanitation, and he would know how often I raise the issue of why don't we take the youth. By the way, the government had this program called the War on Leaks. 15,000 youth are trained to be artisans and plumbers, but after training, there's nowhere to take them. So such a project, we take them and deploy them into the community. We are also working with Standard Bank, which is one of our stakeholders, to train them for entrepreneurship skills. And then, because entrepreneurship is not for everyone, for every house that they go into, we give them business cards with a list of all the other skills that they possess besides installing our technology. This ranges from taps, pipes, geysers, showers, and the range. So if there's a leak beyond what you've just seen, they can easily contact them directly or call us as an office. Then we would then deploy them to wherever the jobs are, or rather the requirement for the need is. So we are creating a national database of youth plumbers that are on the call under our stewardship. That's one way of sustaining it. Then you also raised the issue of this is a political show, lack of a better term. You're actually right, sir. We are currently facing a situation where this project was conducted in the previous administration, and then it continues into the new administration. It has to scale, but the new administration doesn't want to give glory to the past administrators. So now it's a catch-22. It's good, but we cannot continue because it was implemented by the past. And we have nothing to do with politics, mind you. We just want to create impact, save water for our country, create jobs for the entire region, and save a whole lot of money in the interim. So these are some of the issues that we would like people of your caliber to also intervene and give guidance that this is non-political. We cannot politicize water, among other things. We need to be realistic. This water is for the entire sector. Water is not just a sector, it's a connector of all the other industries. Hence, we are discussing WEF. Today, we have an energy crisis in our country. Eskom is the single largest water consumer in the country. So if we want to politicize water, we then have this ripple effect of other means, which could have been avoided if people of your caliber could just give us strong leadership and say, politics aside, let us scale. Have I answered your question, sir?
You'll find me there.
You know him.
know me? Director Transformation. Okay. So I think we need to talk. I'll be having the Youth Summit again in June. Also, we have to participate. Because we wanted to have an Africa Youth Summit. We came with the AMCAL strategy. It's there, but it's slipping somewhere. So we need to wake up and start working as Africa. Singing, I mean, people are laughing away, laughing stock. So we need to work. I'm not saying I'm important, but I'm worried. I want to see action. You can see it's written all over to sell by this date. So if I die tomorrow, somebody must take the baton and run with that baton. So I think they've got a young old man there. If he's gone, he's gone. So I will request that from Water and Sanitation, let's come and talk as a component and deal with this matter. Because I'm also dealing with in and out of youth programs, you know that, and broad-based economic empowerment. Let's talk about this matter. It's very important, Menir. I'm not trying to outsmart you, but I want us to work as a collective to assist Sadc and Africa as a whole. Hence, I'm saying Africa must export unemployment.
On that note, good sir, we wish you all the best. We have a lot of crises that needs your attention. We bid you farewell. No, I just wanted to give you my card.
There's something starting with Victor, something like.
It's on the desktop to the right. Got it.
Yep. So I'm going to present to you basically, yes, where's that stuff? Go to the next slide, please. My name is Victor Kongo. It's to do with Sadc Water Energy Food Youth Network. And where's the tool? Where is it? Okay. Yeah, so I want to challenge you as the youth. We've been talking about being given the chance to lead. And there's this young guy called Chinua Achebe who said, if a young man can wash his hands, then he can eat with the kings. So we are giving you that chance to eat with the kings, but you have to wash your hands. And how do you wash your hands? Be articulate, visionary, hardworking, and creative, responsible. Because first, the truth is that you don't need to have a big title to be a leader. You can be a leader at your own level at any time. And how do we provide? How do we give that chance to eat? Providing you access, position, platform space, recognition, responsibility. That's how we do that. And in that regard, we are coming now with this. Of course, you are aware of the Sadc Youth Innovative Network, which we are starting today. And it's a platform for youth entrepreneurship, mentorship, apprenticeship, and innovation. If you combine all these four of the attributes, is for youth development, if you look at it in a big scale. And in that scale, we have a draft regional work program. It's a program for you and for us, where we're going to work together in Sadc. And basically is to the effect of dealing with WAVE Youth Innovative Network, but based on what basically you are presenting. And, basically based on what you are going to present, because we had access to your documents, which you sent to us. So we had to customize that into a program for the Sadc region. And we will be listening to all of you. And the goal for this regional program is to promote WAVE and youth empowerment. And of course, we are doing that in the context of SDG, so that, of course, within the Sadc regional industrialization agenda. Of course, that is key, and we have to work within that framework. Then what is the overall objective of this program is to enhance job creation. From Paseka's perspective, he has managed to create those jobs, and they also want to do more. So if suppose each one of us can engage in that level, it means we are going to export what unemployment. So basically, if one of you is employing 5, 6, then we're in business. That's the focus of what we are doing here. And how are we doing it? We are doing it in 3 program components. You can follow from what we printed for you on your document. But the whole idea is to catalyze. Component 1, we look at catalyzing jobs creation through youth entrepreneurship. I think that has to sink in us. That, I normally say this, and I'm very honest with myself. The current education systems are not meant to make us entrepreneurs. The education system is meant to make us employees as a workforce for governments. Very serious. But we are not meant to be entrepreneurs. So we are changing the wheel here. We want to be entrepreneurs. So how are we going to do that? We are to do by leveraging high political support. And I think we have it at Sadc level, no doubt. We have that high political level. And of course, leverage wave finance. You had the contribution from I think Africa Development Bank. We have that support as well. Then the other one is to mainstream youth participation in social inclusion, regional and national wave investments. Of course, these wave investments are at country level. That is where the action is. That's component number 1. Component number 2 is to mobilize youth innovation and partnerships through capacity building skills. And that's where we build your skills, where we come with mentorship programs. We come also with a situation whereby you can also have that kind of knowledge acquisition, and of course at country level and at regional level. Of course, the bottom line is to come with the SMEs, and the one which I like most is the Youth Innovation Award. We are trying to come up with that. Of course, we shall communicate later how we are going to implement that, but that is part of this program, how we can implement also a youth award for the whole youth in the Sadc region. Then the last one is component 3 is on accelerating project preparation. Of course, we should understand that preparing a project is a task by itself. And even in corporate world, there are people who are really trained to develop this kind of projects. But we still want to capacitate you people to develop your own projects, bankable projects. Of course, when you go to a bank, they'll have to ask you that. Of course, the whole idea is it has to be anchored at program coordination, and of course, we have to learn, experimental learning, how can we improve ourselves as we move forward. Now, how are you going to implement this program? Remember, it's a program. Of course, the implementation is through Sadc, and then RBOs and governments at country level. Then the coordination part of it, it is through the Sadc implementing partners. And there are several of them who are in this group. So we are going to team up with other partners. And at country level, we are focusing on the youth chapters that, of course, you have already, and which we are going to really establish them strongly so that they can be able to be capacitated to undertake some of these things that we are proposing here today. Now, where are we going to get funding? First of all, from GWP financial partners, regional finance partners, of course, even through Sadc. And we are estimating around 3 million euros for a duration of 3 years. And we're starting from this year to 2021. Now, just to finish my presence, that I want to challenge you is that innovation is an individual thing. It is not collective. And as what Paseka said, it needs guts. It needs determination. It needs internal capacity to move forward without even looking back. So with that regard, thank you so much for listening. So is there any question before we go to the next? 2 questions quickly before we go to the next. Yes, Alex.
Yeah, hi, Victor. The director is now here,
okay,
from Sadc. So I think they will indicate at some point, because she needs to give some remarks, but she'll indicate to us when an appropriate time. But maybe what you do is, because what you've presented in terms of the Youth Innovation Award is basically her idea. So what I would suggest is you can just go very quickly through the components so that she can also get it, because, yes, thank you.
Maybe with the presentation again. Madam Director, can I go one slide behind so that you get it properly? So we are coming up with a draft regional work program for the youth, of course, within the Youth Innovative Network. And the objective basically, or the goal, is to promote WEF and youth empowerment. That's what we want to do. And of course, we're targeting the Sadc Regional Industrialization Agenda, and of course, implementation of SDG. That is where we are operating from within international agenda and also the SDG framework. The overall goal, of course, is job creation for the youth and integration of youth innovation in WEF investments. We have been talking about WEFs for the last 2 days or so. So that's why we want to anchor our youth in the region in the context of WEF. And this program is structured in 3 components. One is to do with catalyzing for jobs creation through entrepreneurship. We want our youth to have that entrepreneurship kind of approach in everything they do. And through that is one of the things is to leverage high political support. And there's no doubt at Sadc level, we have that support. And then the other one is, another work package is to leverage WEF finances. And through this, of course, through a variety of areas, including leverage through the private sector. We can also do that through the PPP framework as well. The other one is to mainstream youth participation in social inclusion and regional and as well at national level, where we have the actual investments at national level. The other component is to mobilize youth innovations and partnerships in capacity building processes, dealing with building skills, development, entrepreneurship, and training. And through this is like, we want to strengthen the WEF youth networks at country level, because that's where actually the action is. And of course, we also do at regional level, so that you can have this WEF implementation, get actual implementation accreditation at these 2 levels. The other one is to facilitate outreach, awareness, and knowledge management, and on WEF investment at country and regional level. You can see that we are looking at country and regional because those are our 2 domains. The other one, of course, which is related to you, Sadc, is to establish Youth Innovation Award so that we can enhance capacity development through local SMEs, apprenticeship, mentorship, and of course, applied research. We put applied research there because we need also, of course, the chair of the GWP mentioned, to do with nice publication as well, which we can use to benchmark some what we are doing. The other one, the third component is to accelerate project preparation. We know preparing a project is quite a task, but we need to empower the youth to prepare bankable projects. And this we do in the framework of supporting them and embedding it within the youth innovation. And of course, IWM approach. The other one is to accelerate project preparation and of course of WEF projects at country level and at regional level, and of course maximizing youth benefits. The last one is program coordination, monitoring, and learning from each other how we are doing things at country level and also at regional level. Maybe I can stop there so that we If there's any quick reaction to that, we can address before we go to the plenary session. Yep.
Thank you very much, and my sincere apologies for being late. I have quite a number of site meetings. Like my colleague here sitting next to me, we have to get into another one now, and there are also others waiting outside. This is a very commendable and welcome initiative. And you guys, you really look organized, I must say. I think from our side, like it was mentioned yesterday by Shamil, already there's an initiative from the Sadc Youth Forum. So I think what we need to do, because I can see this program not only supporting the WEF family, but also others like ICT. For your information, last week when we were in Kasani, we actually came up with an action plan. That we had youth there also, and their issues were not just focusing on ICT, they were actually, it was ICT supporting other sectors, you know, it's cross-cutting. So I think what we need to do is just to make sure that this program talks to other programs which have already been developed. And I'm glad even the issues that you are raising here, they actually talk to those issues that they raised. The issues of financing in as far as project preparation is also concerned. So we just need to make sure that we ensure that this proposal talks to other proposals, and we have a comprehensive youth program. You can run with your bid, but we need to have that comprehensive youth program, which we believe that come August 2019, we should be able to present such a program, and it will be presented by a representative of the youth. The youth will have to decide who is going to represent them at both council and summit, because they need to present that program themselves. The other issue on the award, indeed, it's something which is also welcome. We discussed this last evening with Alex, and there's also something which Sadc is initiating. You may have heard that they will be soon calling for proposals from the young people, the entrepreneurs, and women also. And so we are looking forward to that. The intention is there are going to be competitions, of course, and that process starts now, immediately after that call. That process starts immediately as soon as May, and we are targeting the industrialization week, which is taking place sometime in July. And if we could do perhaps the competitions, we could run the competitions in July, and the awarding could take place during summit in August 2019. We are yet to develop a concept note in that regard and a work program in that regard, and indeed you shall be involved in the whole process because it is your own initiative. We will be coordinating it with the support of partners such as GWP SA, as well as other partners like Sadc and other partners such as GSMA from the ICT side and others. So we will be working together, and come August 2019, we should be having those awards. I'm glad there's an issue again on capacity building. From the Sadc project preparation and development facility, we also have a capacity building component. And of course, we have just been targeting member states and obviously those who are involved in infrastructure development programs. And I think it will be our deliberate reaction to say, let's also include this to cover those young entrepreneurs who are also involved in infrastructure projects. So We will therefore be coordinating this with whoever your representative is, so that we could reach out to a wider group of youth, those who are involved in infrastructure projects. I must say, I'm very happy, and I can see our report really fat. You know, with meat going to summit. Indeed, we have broken the ground. And when I talked about the issue that you are not the only ones, the other youth who are also taking part in food and fisheries, they met also sometime last year, and they also came up with similar concerns and almost similar programs. So we just need to see how we bring all this together. But I must say, I commend you and congratulate you for coming up with this, and we are in full support, and we shall coordinate this. Thank you.
Big applause. You'll be given. That's a very, very commendable comment from Sadc.
So can I, Mr. Mzaba, you are here. Can I leave you and then I go and join another meeting? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ma, for being with us. We wish you well. Yeah. So I think we have been energized now. So we should speak with all the boldness. And of course, there's need now to integrate with other youth as well. So without wasting much time, let's hear what you are talking about, what you have brought for us. Let's hear from you people. So let's start the first panel session with the 5 people. I think you know yourselves. Can we have you here? The 5 people. We just want to hear your voice. Let's see also how you can articulate issues without PowerPoints. It's part of capacity developing processes. So let's start with Tanzania. Of course, the rule of the game is that you have maybe 3 minutes or so. Explain to us what you want to present to us, and of course, be happy. At some point, you'll have time to fire some questions to them. So let's have Tanzania. You have the microphone there? Yeah, just 3 minutes quickly. Let's hear what you want to tell us.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Emmanuel. I'm from Tanzania. And quickly, before I go through my presentation, I have one remark, and just sorry for saying this, but it's just for improvement, that for the future events where youth will be involved, and where the theme is quite clear that it's focusing on youth, please don't put us again to the last presenters, where other participants here have already gone. And this house was full of influential people who could hear what we have. And sometimes they could support us. But look now, we are last. This gives us the impression that we are not a priority. But sorry, but it's for improvement. Please, in the future, this should be taken into record. And let's improve. I will go just directly to Tanzanians' action plan, and I don't want to waste more time. In Tanzania, we have the youth chapter, and it's incubated under Country Water Partnership, the GWP Tanzania, or Tanzanian Water Partnership, and it is legally an institution right now, which is operating legally there with all the infrastructures, offices, and everything. So at least we can say that youth in Tanzania, we are a little bit working. So what we are going to do right now, it's the first activity is we need to widen that structure or that chapter, to widen the mandate, because it was created along the water sector. Now we are moving to Nexus. So we will need to bring other youth on board from other sectors, energy and also food. We need to bring them on board. So we are proposing the first activity to have a workshop which will bring all other youth together from other sectors, so as we can have a strong voice together, and also we can set a scene on what we are going to implement as a group. But also we know each other and who is there and is doing what. So that workshop is the first activity, which will also help us to move and widen our mandate. The second activity, now it will be informed by the first activity. When we already organized, then we will go and scaling up the youth engagement. And the entry point is the basin level. So we will have 2 basins as a pilot, that where we will engage youth. And what we will do there, we will engage youth through a framework which is known as a Tangible Goals Framework. The Tangible Goals Framework has 7 steps on how to engage youth. I will not go in through those steps because of the interest of time, but it's my innovation. I just came up with that one. But in that 7 steps, it has 18 activities on how we engage youth. It can also benefit on that, because the project he's doing, he can use this framework to engage more in your project.
So you have 30 seconds.
Okay.
Summarize.
Then I'm summarized then another activities. So those are immediate activities. Then we have the subsequent activities. So I'm going to mention them. I will not go into details. The other one is to formulate wave clubs into the schools, primary up to universities. But we will start with the primary and secondary first as a starting point. And we will have the training sessions to the clubs. Yes, it's like awareness in the schools. So young people to start and understand what is wave.
Okay,
and
maybe you can stop from there. We shall get from you at question time because of time. Let's hear also the others so that we can move forward. Let's hear from Zambia quickly. Just to the point. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm glad my colleague from Zambia, Matthew, that presented something, and I noted something with regards to water challenges. We have a problem with harnessing water. So as a water resources development intervention under the water panel, we decided to come up with a project that is in line with our action development plan, which is also in accordance with the regional plans as well as the SDGs. So we thought of a rainfall harvesting infrastructure project that we want to implement in the ruralmost parts of our country, although there were arguments that we should also put it into the urban setup, especially like Lusaka, which justifies that water and groundwater. As you know, that we had a cholera outbreak in Zambia, so rainfall harvesting could act as an alternative to that. So as proposed activities, there are about 5, which constitutes reviewing, selection and costing of an appropriate rainfall harvesting technique for a typical rural Zambian setup or a high density area in Zambia, of which the expected output will be a design and a bill of quantities for a rainfall harvesting setup. Then secondly, capacity building in the construction of rainfall harvesting. We want to capacity build, train the youths, local communities, in this case, in the construction of this. So we're hoping, our assumption is GWP could help us maybe arrange for facilitators, or we'll also look within our country under the Zambia Water Partnerships with the experts that are there, and see if we can train the recipient communities there. Then community engagement, of course, that would be the next activity, and of the beneficiary once the community has been identified. Then the 4th one is construction, the actual construction of the rainfall harvesting itself. So, and the follow-up that comes to that. The assumptions are the provision of labor will be done by the youths to minimize the cost of hiring. And of course, then the next one is most of the cost will go towards the purchase of materials. Thank you.
Good. You have spent 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Go to the other. Yes, Lesotho.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
Introduce
you,
yourself
everyone.
and continue, please.
Okay. My name is Ntua. Okay. My name is Ntua Pakisa from Lesotho. I'm representing Lesotho youth. My action plan is going to focus more on to enhance community resilience to drought. We cannot close our eyes from the fact that the Sub-Saharan Africa is experiencing drought recently. So even in Lesotho, we go for a long time without water. That's why I came up with this one. The objective will be to improve youth participation in the development of water resources, and I have several objectives. To ensure the sustainable water resources for agricultural production and livelihood improvement by rainwater harvesting and runoff harvesting. Because we experiencing these flash floods, they come, they pass. So we need to collect that water so that we can use during the water stress. The outcome expected that the drought resilient community, the community that can survive with any kind of drought, and increase access to water for everyone, and improved livelihoods for those who are carrying on the project on agricultural production. And several people can benefit, I mean like 2 or 1 community can benefit on the project. The activities, sorry for that, my papers. The activities that I proposed are like public gathering to encourage awareness in the importance of harvesting water, capacity training, training youth on conserving water, preventing pollution on water resources. And the expected outcome is to improve the interest of youth in the development of water resources, and the responsible will be youth and the other communities. Last one is, as we are, we need to collect water, we need to have a structure. So I proposed building brick tanks, at least 2 of 10 cubic meters. Those 2 can have 10,000 liters for agriculture production, and it also can be treated for domestic use. Thank you very much for that one.
Yeah,
no, I have the last one, the very big one. This one I trim big. We are facing this drought, but we don't have strategy. What is it that we can do to get ready for this drought, not to act when there is emergency? So I proposed that we can develop a drought relief strategy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, spend 3 minutes sharp. Let's go to the other one. Is the Botswana? Yeah.
Thank you. Likewise, my name is Unkemets Joseph. In Botswana, we have for the longest we have had the GWP, Southern Africa chapter, which we in Botswana we call Botswana Water Partnership. The Botswana Water Partnership has worked with government in all spheres of within water. Botswana Water Partnership then established the youth wing of it, which we called BioWatt. The BioWatt is Botswana Youth for Water. We have had a couple of activities, especially under IWRM, where we, we're doing a couple of demonstration on rainwater harvesting and grey water reticulations. So somewhere around late last year, the Botswana Water Partnership had a meeting, And then we use Talize, that platform, also to regroup back, because somehow the BioWatt was not leaking. So we used that platform to regroup again, and we came up with the couple of activities that I'm going to be saying now. Those activities include, likewise, what we did in the IWRM. We also want now for the WEF Nexus, we want to start by undertaking a scoping study to identify key challenges and also the hanging, opportunities that we can embark in. Through that scoping study, we'll then, pick key priorities that will be identified, and also develop our plan around that. The plan then is to hold the national workshop, which will, make train or make aware our youth, regroup our youth, make them aware of the opportunities that are there, and also take that advantage to train them, to be conversant with this Nexus thing and so forth. The next one will be packaging now, strategically packaging within with the diversity of our youth networks. We'll be packaging demonstration projects that will be fundraising with together with youth, for resource mobilization, and then based on those packages, then we'll also be doing a lot of awareness raising. In Botswana, it's easy to train by demonstrations, so we'll be repeating the same, but we'll first do that scoping study. Thank you very much.
Great. Last one, it should be Zimbabwe.
Thank you very much. I hope you are not counting the mic was coming to me. Okay, thank you. In Zimbabwe, what we would want to do is, first I just put together the situation that is currently there, that we have a number of uncoordinated micro-level innovations that young people have developed on their own. So what we would want to do, we also have specific youth desks in various ministries. For example, in the Ministry of Agriculture, Water, and the Rural Settlement, we have a youth desk, which is a structure that we work with. I'm Sungano from the Zimbabwe Youth Council. So we also have this uncoordinated structure that I'm talking about. So the structures that we are going to use are the youth desk, then the micro-level innovations that young people are coming up with. So the first activity is a baseline survey of these micro-level initiatives that young people have. So it will be a call for submissions of those baseline of those proposals that young people have. Then after that, we have a tour of such. If they are being implemented, we'll go on site and see what they are doing. If they are just ideas, we'll call for them so that there is some form of an adjudication process. Then after that, the third activity is now the activities that is linked to the award ceremony, where we will be able to identify amongst those micro level which ones can then be scaled up and put in the ministry's budget. For example, we are talking of the youth desk and the Ministry of Water. So put that specific innovation under the ministry budget so that it can be funded, it can be scaled up. But mainly we are talking of water resource management initiatives that young people are doing. So the situation currently is that there are a lot of activities that young people are doing, innovations, ideas that they are having, but they are not coordinated. So my idea is then to coordinate those ones so that we flag them and people are aware, even the government is aware of what young people are coming up with. Thank you very much.
Great. Can give them a round of applause, please? Good ideas. Let's get 2 quick questions, then we move to the next round. Any reaction from the floor? Two quick reaction. Wow, seems you got the award. Then we can move to the next, which is dealing with energy. I think the countries, they know themselves. I open the floor, nobody asked the question. Okay, use that one. The next countries, just continue asking your question. Let's have Angola, DRC, Madagascar, Mozambique, South Africa. Ashifaya question. Yeah?
Okay, to the group that just presented now, it didn't come out clearly how you're going to be making the community beneficiaries of your of the projects that you're going to be making. It didn't really come out clearly. And then secondly, one thing that I also realized was the fact that you did not articulate much on the social impact. Perhaps maybe it's because of time, but I would suggest that while you're still doing it, because we need those innovative projects to also have the social impact that you can show to it that, okay, this is what I'm ultimately going to be achieving at the end of the day. So yeah, that's what I wanted. So it's the only thing that I figured. Okay, thanks. Just keep that question in mind. Is Angola there? Okay. DRC? DRC? Okay. Madagascar? Great. Mozambique? South Africa. So let's start, yeah? Then, yeah, 3 minutes each.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Hi, everybody. My name is Shami Sokumbarai. Last year, myself and a group of engineers, techies, finance and policy experts from across the continent devised a cashless solution that harnesses the energy from the sun for the provision of accessible and clean water in the Gutu South district of Zimbabwe, and a repeatable model for the Sadc region at large. There's currently an institutional gap around the maintenance of rural water infrastructure, such as boreholes, which has been largely left to the expense of rural communities upon failure. A 2011 government report by the Parliament of Zimbabwe found that even though 149 boreholes in Gutu South were reported to exist, only 75 of those boreholes were found to be operational due to a lack of proper maintenance, which had become the responsibility of the community to upkeep. The good news is that there are workable solutions to eradicate these kinds of conditions, and one such solution is the one which we devised called Nsuba. So Nsuba is a cashless clean water provision and distribution system that allows households living in rural areas to easily have access to affordable and clean water. As a team, we devised a solution that aims to retrofit, treat, and distribute clean water at an affordable price. Our objectives are that we would then retrofit existing boreholes with solar-powered pumps with a prepaid PIN code metering system. And depending on the water quality of the aquifer, we'd either look to include a reverse osmosis system that can be used to clean the water and then store it in water tanks. According to research, about 84% of people in rural Zimbabwe have access to a mobile phone. So in partnership with network providers such as Econet or EcoCash, we'll provide an SMS-based platform where end users can make use of SMS technology to place orders and prepay for water at a cost of 1 cent per litre. For distribution, we've established a digital distribution network as an additional service to be provided for end users. So through the Uberization of water delivery, clients can then send a request for local bikers to deliver directly to their home, providing employment opportunities, particularly for energetic young people. The impact of a project of this nature would be that revenue generation would be made available for continuous maintenance and upkeep of the boreholes and pumping systems. You'd provide clean access to water to help reduce waterborne diseases. So the cell phone delivery system would help increase productivity as time spent going to collect water would then be significantly reduced. Employment opportunities would then also be created, and it's really a scalable model that can be replicated across the Sadc region. With an investment of the $5,000, it would allow for us to purchase the installation and install a solar-powered pump with a head range between 60 and 130 meters. We'd be able to buy a 10 kiloliter water tank for storage and retrofit the borehole with a prepaid water metering system. We then also need additional funding to develop the cell phone application system. But through our trainings, women and youth would be able to eventually take over businesses of this nature, and we'd be looking to addressing SDG goals pertaining to Goal 3, which would be good health. Goal 6, the provision of clean water and sanitation. Goal 8, looking at decent work and economic growth. And Goal 11, sustainable communities.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Great idea. Great innovation. Yeah, continue, please.
Okay. So I'm Tina, I'm from Madagascar. I have 2 hats. I work at the Ministry of Energy, Water and Hydrocarbons, but I also co-founded the Malagasy Youth Against Climate Change platform. So my action plan will be actually the next step for the Malagasy Youth Against Climate Change. It is to put in place the Malagasy Sustainability Lab, which is sorry, because I have it on my phone. Sorry. Sorry. So the objective is to put in place the Malagasy Sustainability Lab by educating and involving university students in energy issues, especially to solve real-life problems. It will help them design projects that are environmentally, economically, socially, and technically sustainable. The main focus will be on off-grid lighting and micropower, agriculture, including solar, biogas, and post-harvest, and renewable energy, including solar, biogas, and wind. So with this lab, we will identify students with the most innovative ideas, and we will, as activity, we will put a guiding framework for students with those innovative ideas, and give them a platform for with using the wave nexus approach. So this is still an idea that we have to mature, thanks to the feedback from PASECA. I still want to mature it according to the activities. So I'm here to also learn about that.
Yeah, Vlad, please. Thank you. Next.
Muito obrigado. I will speak in Portuguese, so I'm sorry.
Do you have anybody
for that?
Who can translate? Anybody who speaks Portuguese?
Sadc members can help.
Maybe give to that one as we look for an.
He also speak Portuguese.
We need to build a capacity for Portuguese. They are not outside.
The technical gentleman is going to get the translator.
Okay. I think any questions as we wait for the 3? Yeah. Continue.
Oh, Shamiso, hello. And congratulations on your project. I think it's a very great innovation. More so that you're going to be actually using the. Are you going to be using the carts in terms of monitoring who is going to be accessing the water and stuff like that? And also because I can imagine if it's in Zimbabwe, I mean the place that you mentioned, it looks like it's in the rural area, and your tanks, where are they based? Is it underground tanks, or you've mounted it? You're going to be mounting it somewhere else, and how do you avoid livestock, the roaming livestock from interrupting with the setup that you would have had. But otherwise, I think that you've answered most of the questions. Particularly, I liked your social impact aspect of it. But also, because you're in South Africa.
These are many questions. Can I quickly answer?
Okay. Yes. Okay. It's because you're in South Africa. Where in South Africa are you going to be making it? And two, community ownership. How are you going to be ensuring that?
Okay, I'll try to remember everything. Thank you so much for the questions. First and foremost, it would be an above-ground tank, an elevated tank, and we were thinking of just ring fencing it with some fencing to avoid livestock interrupting the water supply system. It's actually a cashless and cardless system, so you would just be linked up through your cell phone number. It's very much like the EcoCash system, where your cell phone number becomes your identity tag. You would then use that to buy a token or a PIN that you would then put into the prepaid water meter system. Your other question was pertaining to South Africa, which is a very difficult question to answer with regards to South Africa, because South Africa has a different dynamic around water and payment of water, especially in the rural areas. So that system might need to be subsidized by the government, but it's a system that can work nevertheless. We do have the cell phone technology to allow for something like that. Yeah.
I think what we do now, thanks for that. Let's have the other group come on top. Then when we have the language issue is settled, we shall come back. Then you present your projects. Is it fair? Yeah, so let's have the other group. That is Comoros, Eswatini, Malawi, Mauritius. Can I give them applause, please? And Namibia. Yeah, pick the mic there and introduce yourself and go straight to your project. 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. My name is Ibrahim. I'm from Comoros. I am the project manager of Agripreneur. Objective of this project is to produce food, potatoes and cassava. Why? We have a problem of food in Comoros. So to launch this project, it will help the community to have access of food and again have access of job. This project will create job, and they will also create an opportunity for men and youth who have a problem of elaborate a business model. So our project will have two activity: entrepreneurship training to help women and youth to elaborate business model, and then after that we will produce the potatoes and the cassava. Again, we have a problem because we have understand that those young people and women who immigrate illegally, because they are missing a job creation opportunity. So if we launch this project, they will help them to stay in a country and help themselves and also their family. So we need money to launch this project, and 50 women and youth will be beneficiated in this project. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Clap for him, please. Let's give him applause. Next. Yeah, continue.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm Lena, and I'm the youth coordinator of a non-governmental organization. And
from which country?
Mauritius. I'm from Mauritius. My proposed action plan is to raise awareness amongst community young leaders in Mauritius on food security. Well, how this arose? Well, people in Mauritius are very well aware that Mauritius is classified as a net food import developing country. And due to globalization, there have been changes in lifestyles and food habits in Mauritius. And thus, there has been a reduction in the consumption of traditional foods, within an increase in consumption of fast foods. And this has an increased dependence on food imports. All these have resulted in diseases, for instance, obesity, diabetes, and heart diseases. All these are on the rise in my country. But yet, the local population prefer more the fast food than the traditional foods. According to a general observation made by my organization and also from other NGOs, we came across that there are not even awareness campaign on nutritious values of traditional foods in my country. And my objective for this action plan is to share skills and knowledge to community young leaders to empower them on food security and on related issues. How are we going to proceed with that? We're going to have 3 activities. First one is going to be 5 awareness campaign across 5 geographical regions around the country, where we're going to empower 700 young community leaders. Secondly, we're going to have a 2-day training workshop for facilitators. They are those facilitators who are going to train those community leaders. Thirdly, we are going to have a 2-day training program for community leaders. And this second training program is going to be done on an apprenticeship approach. And we expect the responsibility is going to be myself, and we're going to seek professionals from the private sectors, including the Mauritius Chamber of Commerce and Industries.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Give a round of applause, please. Next.
Good afternoon. My name is Jermaine from Namibia. My action plan is to, the goal for my action plan is to build regional frameworks that encourages youth participation in agriculture and food security within Namibia. Recently, I had a study on youth that take part in the agriculture sector in Namibia, and I found out that most of the people who take part there actually our adults. There's no youth really taking part in the agriculture sector, and I found it very I became so scared that those guys will be phasing out very soon, and we will not have anyone to take over from them. One of the reasons is that Namibia faces a lot of drought, and most of the youth are always saying that it's not a wise decision to go into agriculture in terms of there's no enough finances in that sector. So my objective for this is to create platforms to educate them. So what we will do is we will to provide needed resources, including funds, knowledge, and land for the youth to engage in agriculture activities that will minimize the imports and improve the Namibian economy by providing jobs and quality, affordable local products. Namibia currently now has a 10% of locally produced agriculture items, vegetation. Most of it we are getting it from South Africa. So through these trainings, the frameworks that I'm trying to, and structures that I'm trying to implement, that will be able to have more youth taking part in the agriculture system. So what we will do is we will have meetings where we invite different youth from different regions. We will explain to them and develop strategies on how to implement and conduct these kind of sorry, just hold on. To implement the workshops when they go back, they can be able to implement these strategies and things we have come up with. And
is it possible? Summarize 2 seconds, please.
Okay. So this will help to educate youth on the policies of regarding food security, development, and the WAVE Nexus frameworks of Sadc. And one of the things I would like to ask is for the Nexus application to really have to come to Namibia and maybe conduct a workshop just to educate the youth about the importance of agriculture within the country. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, round of applause, please. Great. Let's go to the other one. That's which country?
Good afternoon.
Yep.
My name is Kamel Lamin from the Kingdom of Eswatini. The first thing that we have to notice that the world wastes about 1.83 billion tons of food. America wastes 230 million tons of food alone, and the Sadc region needs 221 million tons of food to be food secure. So basically, we do not have to invest in agriculture, but we need to first stop wasting food. But we'll only have to invest in agriculture to meet population demands, as it has been said that African population will be increasing in the next few years. I'll present my action plan. The goal of the plan is ensuring food security for all through youth participation and involvement. The objective is building a youth for agriculture investment and ensuring food security. And then the expected outcome is a food secure Eswatini for future generations to come. The first activity will be the mobilization of the youth through SACIDA, which is the Southern African Student and Youth Development Association, which we have launched, and I'm the current president for the Kingdom of Eswatini. The expected output will be organized youth, which will be easy to direct or to be channeled towards agricultural development projects. And then the second one is training of the youth on business and trade, training them in terms of how to be money savvy, and training them in terms of financial literacy. The youth will understand the business world and change attitude towards it, thus learn how to commercialize agriculture. The third one will be acquiring of land for community projects for youth and from local chiefs. Currently in Swaziland, in the Kingdom of Eswatini, you can't access land unless Swazi Nation land. We have two different kinds of land. We have title deed land, we have Swazi Nation land. So title deed land is expensive. So the only one we can be able to access is the Swazi Nation land. But you can't access it when you're a youth because you don't have a wife. The security of the land is having a wife, or you're having a husband. And women cannot get access to land because they are women. That only husbands or men are given land. So that will be the first thing to do for the agricultural project. We have to talk to the local chiefs to give us land for agricultural projects. And then the fourth one is embracing the fourth industrial revolution in climate smart agriculture, whereby you will get an understanding of new methods of farming through embracing the innovation and technology coming with the fourth industrial revolution. And then the fifth one is harnessing the investors to develop the agricultural sector. We'll talk to banks, we'll talk to FinCorp, which is an organization that develops agriculture within the lower sugar belt in the Kingdom of Eswatini, and the business people who will be our investors. The sixth one is to establish...
End with that one?
End with
you end with the sixth one, yeah.
Okay, can I end with the last one?
That's the last one, yeah.
Yes, okay, the last one will be establishment of a team to innovate safe genetically modified foods and advanced climate smart organic farming, whereby we'll create high quantities of food which are drought resistant, which are also disease resistant, in consideration of not polluting the environment in this process, which will be helped by the Royal, the King launched the Royal Technology Science Park, whereby we can be able to have access to that kind of technology, only mobilizing the scientists, which we have. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, good. An applause, please. Okay, that's yeah.
All right. When I graduated from university...
Your name, please, and country?
My name is Hastings Nshane from Malawi. When I graduated from university, my problem was not food. My problem was I didn't have a job. It's the same situation with many youth in Malawi. Their problem at an individual level, their problem is not food. Their problem is they don't have money. Now, my action plan will focus on working with young people so that they can contribute to food production by making them see money in agriculture. When I started farming 5 years ago, I had a problem. I was making losses because I could not access the markets that I have. I could not access the markets because I didn't have the capacity to supply consistently to these markets. I also didn't have the capacity to meet the quantities, the minimum quantities that the markets were looking for. Until when I thought of partnering with rural young people, so that rural young people who have land, so that together we can collectively produce and meet the quantities that the markets were looking for, but also supply consistently to these markets. At the moment, we have 3,000 youth farmers who are organized in 117 youth agribusiness clubs in rural areas of central Malawi. Now, my action plan will focus mainly on increasing our membership from the current 3,000 to 25,000 in the next 5 years. We feel if we increase our membership, we will be able to access even bigger, more markets, but also better markets at international level, because we'll be able to meet the quantities that the markets are looking for at international level, that is. But also we are going to reach out more young people. More young people are also going to get inspired because they are going to see at the moment, because the way we are doing at the moment, we are doing the youthful way, which is very innovative and different from the other farmer groups that are happening. And when we do that, I know when we reach the membership of 25,000, we are also going to have a voice at national level, because we have the numbers and we have the volumes, but also we'll be able in the end to influence policies and all that. So our action plan will focus on mobilizing, going to rural areas to mobilize more youth groups, youth farming groups, and mobilizing more young people in the rural areas. Thank you very much.
Yeah, great. Round of applause for this group, please. Let's 2 quick questions for the group. Quick reactions. Quick, sharp.
Thank you very much. My question is directed to the King Swati. You talked of loss of food in those alarming tongues. So I don't know, what can the youth do with regards to changing the mindset of wastage of food? So that's the question that
I have an answer. We eat all of it.
Okay.
Quick, yeah.
Thank you very much. What needs to be done is changing of attitude. So how do you change attitude? You change attitude through teaching people from a young age. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So you teach the young ones from an early age. You teach someone who is 5 years old not to waste food, not to throw down a paper to pollute the environment. So that is how you develop or you build a nation. And the second thing, how you build a nation from the units of a family. And then from the family, if the family is, it has been well built, has respect and all those things, it will be able to influence the society, and the society will be able to influence the community, and thus the nation will be built. Thank you.
Quick, sharp.
Mine is a quick comment, because I had like 2 presenters, Mauritius and Namibia, were presenting and pointing out that they will be implementing alone the activities. So for the sustainability, and also to have a very unified kind of a framework to, while implementing those activities, it's good if we integrate all the initiatives with the water chapters. And even also the energy, we could integrate all what we are doing with a single institutional structure which will implement for sustainability, but also to reach more people, more youth. Thank you.
Great. We moved with the Portuguese, and then we shall have open the floor. So, any comment? You react to that comment? No. You okay? Okay. Can I make you go back to your list? Let's have our Portuguese colleagues. Yeah. So the rule is that you speak. Nobody will interfere with your speaking until you finish. Then an interpreter will come in and interpret for us. So you have 2.5 minutes. No, very sharp. Don't worry. We have the best. We have the best. Yeah. So just speak slowly. Slowly. Then after that, the interpreter will come in and interpret. Is it okay?
Hi, my name is Katrin Siertel from GIZ. I have just been asked to translate here. I am not a professional interpreter, so I'll do my best, but what I would ask you to do is maybe if we can go just in 2-3 phrases, then I translate, and then again, because otherwise I'm gonna get lost, I guess.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, yeah, thanks so much. So you have understood, eh?
Yeah.
Maybe you can speak to them in that frequency, then they can understand better.
Muito obrigado por esta oportunidade que a Sadc dá a Moçambique e particularmente à juventude para estar neste processo de mudanças ao nível da região.
Thank you very much for the opportunity that Sadc is giving the youth here to in these times of change. Is that right?
Opportunities to participate and share ideas.
Can you speak in English?
For me, it's better speaking in my official language,
Okay.
Português. Ok. Então, Moçambique tem grande potencial de recursos hídricos e na componente energética. E a juventude está muito engajada em participar nesses processos rumo ao desenvolvimento nacional.
Mozambique has a big resource potential, especially in energy, and the youth is very engaged in this matter.
E temos estado a receber alguns programas com apoio financeiro interno, mas também externo. Felizmente, com algum foco para a juventude na área da agricultura. Mas ainda persistem problemas de acesso à energia.
We have some projects going on with internal national financing and external financing, and happily there's a lot of youth involvement in these projects, but there's still a huge problem in energy supply or access to energy.
E eu acho que temos a bênção de termos o céu aberto com muita luz solar e que poderíamos aproveitar as energias alternativas limpas.
We have a lot of sun shining in Mozambique, and so there's a huge potential for solar energy and alternative energy sources.
Então, com base nisso, o que eu penso para o meu país, primeiro é fortalecer a coordenação institucional, porque estes nexos, agricultura, água e alimentos, têm uma ligação muito forte e também tem a sua implicação na coordenação institucional. Então, a primeira ação terá que ser essa, de procurar juntar a todos que têm interesse nessa área energética, com foco também na agricultura e na água, e podermos juntos caminhar.
So the Nexus approach has a very big potential in Mozambique. I'm not sure whether I got the...
Yeah, for us it's very important to take all of the interested people and institution to be one group and focus on what we can do. First, after this, I'm thinking that it's necessary to take the young people for each region in Mozambique, and north, central, and south, and being together and create the regional groups about energy sector and make our national plan that have to be at the national agenda. And of course, os intervalos ou os gaps que tem estado a haver nesta relação toda é que precisamos fortalecer as oportunidades de os jovens empreendedores na agricultura poderem ter acesso à energia alternativa, porque isso vai ajudar a aumentar o nível da empregabilidade juvenil, vai ajudar aumentar a produção e a produtividade e vamos reduzir as perdas que temos da água, que quando não é usada, não é bem gerida, portanto é um recurso que vai se perdendo.
So we are investing in the youth, in entrepreneurship, and in order to reduce the water losses. Is that it?
To increase the production and the productivity, to employ the young people, and then to reduce the poverty on our country. So after this, we will have a plan, national plan action, and then we'll raising for funds to finance this plan and promote our national program agenda about energy sector. Thank you.
Obrigado. You can clap for me also, I know Portuguese. Thank you very much. So let's hear also from your colleague.
Hi. Well, if you guys saw me shaking here, it's because it's cold. It's not. Bem, o meu plano de ação, é voltado muito mais para a área do gênero.
My action plan is very much focused on gender.
Muito mais voltado para a questão de acesso.
On the question of access to resources.
Educação.
Education.
E políticas públicas. Políticas.
And public politics.
Sim. Por que isso apareceu? Por que eu tive essa ideia de criar este plano?
Why did I have the idea to create this plan?
Eu trabalho numa empresa privada.
I work in a private company.
Em Angola. E eu pude enxergar que os menores salários, eu pude ver que os menores salários mais pequenos,
I could see the very small salaries.
São dos nacionais.
Or the smallest, the lowest salaries are those of the nationals.
E quando eu fui questionar parte da administração da empresa, quando eu perguntei por quê,
and when I questioned this issue with the management of the company,
a afirmação era que a mão de obra qualificada custava mais cara e a nossa mão de obra que nós oferecíamos como nacionais era menos qualificada.
The answer was that qualified labor is more expensive and the less qualified labor, which was the national labor mostly, was less expensive.
E pensando nisso, eu fui questionar também o porquê de termos somente homens ao nosso redor, no setor de engenharias.
And then I also asked myself, why is there so many men, or almost only men, in engineering?
E vi que existem questões culturais que acabam se tornando barreiras, que acabam se tornando obstáculos.
There seem to be cultural issues that are creating barriers or obstacles.
Que fazem com que as mulheres não tenham o mesmo acesso à educação que os homens.
And also that women seem to not have the same access to education as men have.
Então, quando a gente fala aqui na Sadc de empoderamento,
so when we in Sadc here speak about imbalances,
nós não podemos esquecer que para nós
termos... sorry, no. When we speak about empowerment.
Nós não podemos esquecer que para termos jovens empoderados, que para termos inovação, precisamos de ter pessoas academicamente qualificadas. Para inovação, precisamos de qualificação acadêmica.
Okay, so for innovation, we need more academic qualification.
Então, a ideia foi criar um incentivo as mulheres, meninas, para acessarem a carreira das ciências exatas.
So my idea was to get women and girls to start in these careers. Which careers?
Ciências exatas, engenharias.
Of engineering?
Yes. Assistência a famílias que têm crianças com menos de 6 anos.
Then
Famílias.
you started an assistance program to families
Yes.
that have children below under 6 years.
E que tenha funcionário trabalhando nesse setor.
And that have one
Working in this.
one person working in this sector.
Yes. E também criar uma espécie de assistência a adolescentes, teenagers.
And also we created an initiative to help teenagers.
Sim, com 3 objetivos. E eu já vou terminar.
With 3 goals.
Tem que falar para ele que já vou terminar. Ok, o primeiro é diminuir a dupla jornada feminina. É diminuir o papel dobrado que a mulher tem na sociedade.
So first is to
Diminuir.
to lessen or to take load of the double charge that women have in this society.
Sim. O segundo é reduzir o papel de cuidador que a criança mais velha tem sobre a criança mais nova.
The second is, you can say it again.
Diminuir o papel, o papel que as crianças mais velhas costumam ter quando os pais saem para trabalhar.
Okay. To take also the load of the older children that they have often to take care of their smaller siblings.
Yeah, maybe end with the
There's only 1/3, I think.
Yeah.
Last one? Yes, please. E o último é que é diminuir a dependência salarial de um só trabalhador.
And the third one is that to lessen the dependency on only one working person in a family.
Bom, eu queria falar um pouco mais, mas talvez se houver perguntas eu possa esclarecer.
He has a lot more to share, but if you are interested, you can approach him maybe later.
Obrigado. Clap for him, please. Thank you very much. 2 quick questions for any reaction quickly for anyone. Any of the, please, you can come and sit down. Anybody with a burning question? Food, energy, water? Yeah, quick, sharp.
Thank you very much. I'm Thomas Shabalala. While I was listening to all of them, it's like we are not trying to link or interlink whatever is there as the youth. Everybody is trying to pull away from each other. But let's try to bring it together again and work together rather than in silos. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I think as I round up, I think I managed to capture some key points. Of course, you are right. I picked that of course, everybody is back to silos, which we need now to integrate because we have been indoctrinated and baptized into WEF. So there's no option. We have to sing that tune. The other one is that I was reflecting on the CSIR presentation on future jobs. I will wish you to think also on that line, like what the president from, I like the future jobs, think in that line. I didn't hear any much of ICT, except for South Africa. The others who are a bit, I wanted to see like apps, applications. We developed an application last year, to compute potential of rainwater harvesting for the whole of Africa. It is in the app now. Why can't you compute also for your country? We are using sessions from your countries. Why can't you do that? Let's be smart so that when the Sadc comes next year, they'll just come with a fat check so that we can enjoy. So at that point, let me go according to our program, that I think there is something like a launch. Need to be advise you, but I think there's a pronouncement to that effect. Can I get advice on that? Okay, Paseka. So let's hear from Paseka as we get into the launching. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Congo. As you have heard, and thank you for that comment, Thomas, the reason why we are here is not only to get our different opinions, but to also structure some form of unity for us to move forward as a collective. We all know the faults of the past. We're not blaming our current leaders, but we all know that we cannot solve today's problems with yesterday's thinking. We are here to partner with our leaders. We are not here to form some form of competition or some form of this break. I would like to call everybody, all the youth that have presented and those who are still within that caliber, with no offense to our elder youth, to the front, so that we as a sign of unity, hold hands and declare to ourselves that we as the leaders of tomorrow, we will partner, we will unite, we will construct, we will innovate, and we will move forward as a peaceful Sadc. We need not fight a bloody war. The hardest war that should be fought among us should be a verbal war, just to show each other's differences and to find a common ground. We are sharing transboundary waters. We are sharing so much in common. We are one. These borders are man-made borders. Technically speaking, it's just land. And therefore, we are one upon this continent. So without further ado, can you please come to the front and let us unite in hands and launch our own Sadc Youth Water, Energy, Food Nexus Network. I think this is a more open space. All right. It's a pity. Put it on my
Can I hold the microphone for somebody?
Or I can probably speak a bit louder.
Okay.
So as you can see, we are in a circle. Those who are married among us, all right. There's a reason why. Thank you, Dr. Congo. I am told that there's a reason why a ring is a ring in a circle format. It has no particular beginning and it has no end. It is circular, representing infinity and representing equality. We don't have a head among us. We are all equal. We need to support the gender notion. Thank you very much for raising that issue. We have seen upon the panels that it is a boys' choir, with no offense to my gentlemen. It's not that the women do not have a voice, it's just that for far too long they have been suppressed to a point where they're not even considered in certain aspects. So we also we commend the ladies among us for reaching it to these levels. We as the youth have to take it upon ourselves to implement this change. We, the youth, are tired of the talks. We know very well that we've attended talk sessions and talk shops before. And we want to see action on the ground. And that is why we are presenting action plans, not workshops on how to talk more about what is WEF. Okay? Please do understand, we need to conscientize our peers. So Awareness programs are vital. It starts with a discussion, but let every discussion manifest into action that will create impact. Impact that we can scale throughout the Sadc. You shouldn't just focus on your own country. You should focus on your neighbors' countries. Okay. Upon the same breath, let us raise our hands in unity and partnership and to the future. Thank you very much.
Big claps.
I would also like to give the floor to our guest of honor as far as youth are concerned. It's our fair lady from the AU to give us a vote of thanks. If I am not following protocol, I'm subject to correction. Another thing I wanted to mention, let us learn from the leaders. We have a lot of energy that can be a bit destructive, so let us allow the leaders to channel us in the right directions. So if I'm not mistaken, I am following through with the closing of the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I do it here. Cool. Just to observe protocol, Sadc Secretariat, Global Water Partnerships, and all other development stakeholders, protocol observed, colleagues, the youth. It has been an absolute honor being with you. During the selection of your participation, I remember at a point in time, I had a discussion with my colleague and we said, you know, we cannot afford to just leave this place without anything concrete from the youth's perspective. And I must congratulate you for having worked on those action plans that are quite brilliant with the shortest space of time that you have been given. But most importantly, I would like to urge us to say there's a very huge cry out there among other youth who are not as fortunate enough to get the opportunities that you did get being in this platform. It is therefore upon us to say that this information, let's not treat it like privilege. Whatever we've learned from here, let us try to go in our circles, try to teach another person about what the WEF Nexus is about and how they can also be able to benefit from it. But most importantly, let us go back and start raising awareness, talk to the media, they're always looking for content and you are the content. And also on the same breath, I'd like to, oh, he baptized me. On the same breath, I would like to say that let us stand up and stand up for our rights. We are youth, yes, but you are all leaders, whether you have been pronounced by anybody or not. And from henceforth, I will personally be keeping in touch with some of you, not some, but with all of you. And I would like to see this circle here moving forward and implementing even greater ideas within the next coming few years. I'm looking forward to our next engagement, which, by the way, we need to plan with or without our leaders. And secondly, we need to keep in touch. Small talks aside, we need focused youth. We need youth who knows what they want. That capacity building, you hear parents saying that, no, are the youth ready? Are the youth ready? And, you know, that question struck me. I was like, are we really ready? When it comes to, you know, a policy development, when it comes to things that concern us, you've been working in your different industries. And my question is, do you know the policies that are currently regulating your workspace? And if you don't, that means that somebody is making decisions on your behalf and you are suffering for them. And then later on, when you're suffering, that's when you now, we have this thing of trying to catch up with systems time and again. We need to be in the forefront. They keep on calling us the leaders of tomorrow because that's how we are acting. We need to show that we are the leaders of today and tomorrow and going forward. And also on the same note, I would like for us to systematically approach the WEF Nexus. From the little efforts that we have been doing, take up a 10-year-old, 15-year-old. Those guys are very brilliant. Let's bring them together in the space that you're working on, ma'am. The Agenda 2063 is not for us because at the age 2063, I will be a very old woman.
And the owners of agenda are those kids. We need to bring them to that. And you can imagine now, if I will be that old woman at 73, then I'm scared already. How about now our leaders who are currently making decisions for us? I do not want to, I'm not God, but all I'm saying is, let us wake up. Let us wake up. And on that note, it has been an absolute honor on the part of youth for being here. And Global Water Partnerships, I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. These young people are going to be going back home with hope that they will be engaged. And most importantly, we would like to see this partnership or this network functional. Time and again, we start things and then they go just down. And I really hope that is a different case with this group. And with those very long remarks from the African Union and the youth of Sadc, I just want to say thank you. And thank you for the opportunity, Sadc. Thank you for the opportunity, Global Water Partnerships. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everybody.
You see, they were speaking within themselves. So the BBC were outside, the young were there. So you can have your seat, please. At that point, really, we thank everybody for being with us. As before we leave, there's a small note from Michelle. Just one announcement, please.
Hi, everyone. There is a sign-in sheet, attendance sheet, thank you, that if you guys can just please see me, I'll lay them out on this table, and you just need to sign them before you leave.
From the front, thank you very much. Yeah, and have a very nice evening. Thank you very much.